The streetlight flickered above Nia Morgan, casting a pale glow on her worn duffel bag. At 17, she stood outside the iron gate of her Aunt Claudia's suburban mansion, her breath visible in the chilly night air. The house loomed behind her, its windows glowing with warmth she'd never felt inside. After her parents died in a car accident 3 years ago, Claudia took her in, not out of love, but obligation. Tonight, that pretense shattered. "You're not my responsibility." Claudia's voice had thundered hours earlier, her manicured finger pointing at the door. "Get out, Nia. We're done carrying you." Nia had stood frozen in the living room, her sketchbook clutched to her chest. Her cousin Tammy, sprawled on the couch, smirked, already typing on her phone. "Tammy, tell her." Claudia snapped, her silk robe swishing as she paced. "She eats our food, takes up space, enough." Tammy didn't look up from her screen. "Yeah, Nia, you're like the help who doesn't even clean right. Just go." Nia's throat tightened. I have nowhere to go, Aunt Claudia. I'm trying. I'm getting my GED, Trying. Claudia laughed, sharp and cold. "You're a burden. Always have been. Your parents left you with nothing, and I'm not your charity case." Nia's eyes stung, but she wouldn't cry, not in front of them. She grabbed her duffel, stuffing in her sketchbook, a few clothes, and her prepaid phone. The door slammed behind her, the lock clicking like a final verdict. Now, under the streetlight, Nia's phone buzzed. A TikTok notification. Tammy's face filled the screen, laughing, captioned, "Finally rid of the house girl. Broom #freedom." The video already had 2,000 likes. Comments poured in. "Elneo, good riddance." Who even was she? Nia's hands shook as she watched her humiliation go viral. She wanted to scream, to throw the phone into the darkness. Instead, she whispered to herself, "One day, you'll regret this. I'll make sure of it." She walked down the quiet street, the mansions mocking her with their manicured lawns. Her parents' faces flashed in her mind, her mom's warm smile, her dad's goofy laugh. They'd believed in her art, her dreams of designing homes. Now she was alone, but their belief burned in her chest. She gripped her sketchbook tighter. It held her sketches of houses, places where people could feel safe, loved. Places she'd never had. A car honked, startling her. A group of teens drove by, laughing. "Hey, homeless girl, need a ride?" one shouted. Nia kept walking, head high, though her heart pounded. She wouldn't break. Not tonight. Not ever. She wandered until she saw a neon sign. Dolly's 24-hour diner. The glass door jingled as she stepped inside, the smell of coffee and grease wrapping around her like a hug. She slid into a booth, her bag at her feet, and opened her sketchbook. Under the fluorescent lights, she drew a house with wide windows, a garden, a place called freedom. It wasn't just a sketch. It was a promise. The diner's hum was a strange comfort to Nia. Clinking dishes, low chatter, the sizzle of bacon on the grill. She'd been there for hours, nursing a $2 coffee, her sketchbook open to a half-finished drawing of Freedom House. The waitresses didn't bother her, but their glances held pity. Nia hated that look. She wasn't broken. She was building something. A cook, Renee, slid into the booth across from her during a break. Her apron was stained, her braids pulled back tight. "You been here all night, kid," she said, not unkindly. "What's your deal?" Nia hesitated, then slid her sketchbook forward. "Just drawing. I didn't have anywhere else to go." Renee studied the intricate house design, her eyebrows lifting. "This yours? Damn, girl, you got talent. What's it called?" "Freedom House," Nia said softly. "It's what I'd build if I could. A place where no one feels thrown away." Renee's eyes softened. "I get that. My boy's dad left us high and dry. Took me years to feel like I wasn't trash." She paused, then leaned in. "You got a place to crash tonight?" Nia shook her head, her pride warring with exhaustion. "I'll figure it out." "Nah, you won't." Renee scribbled an address on a napkin. My couch ain't fancy, but it's yours for a week. No strings. Nia's throat tightened. Why would you do that? 'Cause I see you, kid. You're fighting. I respect that. That night, Nia slept on Renee's lumpy couch in a tiny apartment filled with toys and laundry baskets. Renee's son, Jaden, peeked at her sketches the next morning. You make houses? He asked, wide-eyed. Yeah, Nia smiled. Wanna help? Jaden grabbed a crayon and drew a lopsided chimney on her sketch. It needs smoke, he said seriously. Nia laughed for the first time in days. During the day, Nia enrolled in a GED program at the community center. The counselor, Ms. Lopez, noticed her doodling in class. You're into architecture? She asked, peering at Nia's intricate designs. I want to build homes, Nia said. Not just houses, places where people belong. Ms. Lopez nodded. Keep that fire, Nia. It'll take you far. Nia spent evenings helping Renee with dishes, swapping stories. You remind me of me at your age, Renee said one night, scrubbing a pan. Folks told me I'd never be nothing. Now I'm saving for Jaden's college. You keep drawing, you hear? I will, Nia promised. Her sketches grew more detailed. Solar panels, open layouts, community gardens. Freedom House wasn't just a dream anymore. It was a plan. Nia needed money. The GED program was free, but food, bus fare, and her phone plan weren't. She scanned job boards at the library, her eyes landing on an ad, evening cleaner, Maverick Constructions. $15 per hour. It wasn't glamorous, but it was a start. Her first night at Maverick, Nia pushed a mop through a sleek office filled with blueprints and models. The architects had left for the day, but a computer screen glowed in the design room. Curious, Nia peeked at the open CAD file, a condo tower with a glaring flaw in its foundation layout. She'd studied enough zoning codes in her GED classes to spot it. Her heart raced. She shouldn't touch it. But her hands moved anyway. She redrew the foundation, aligning it with city regulations, and saved it without a name. No one would know. She finished mopping and left, her pulse still pounding. The next morning, the office was chaos. Who fixed this? Mr. Walter Kane, the CEO, bellowed in a meeting room. Nia, emptying a trash can nearby, froze. Kane, a gruff man with gray hair, held up a printout of her design. This saved us $1 million lawsuit. Who's responsible? An architect, Greg, shrugged. Wasn't me. Maybe one of the interns. Kane called for security footage. Nia's stomach dropped as they fast-forwarded to her at the computer. The cleaner. Greg laughed. No way. Kane summoned her. Nia stood in his office, her sneakers scuffing the polished floor. You did this? He asked, holding up the printout. Yes, sir, she said, voice steady despite her nerves. I saw the mistake. I fixed it. Why didn't you sign it? Kane's eyes narrowed. I'm just the cleaner, Nia said. Didn't think it'd matter. Kane leaned back, studying her. You know CAD? Zoning codes. A little. I'm learning. He slid a contract across his desk. Paid internship. Start tomorrow. Don't make me regret this. Nia's heart soared, but she kept her face calm. Thank you, sir. Meanwhile, Claudia and Tammy sat at a brunch cafe, scrolling through Tammy's phone. Nia's probably scrubbing toilets somewhere, Claudia sneered, sipping her mimosa. Tammy giggled, posting another TikTok. Bet she's crying in an alley. #loser. But Nia wasn't crying. She was in Maverick's design room, sketching on a company tablet, her future unfolding one line at a time. Nia's internship was a whirlwind. She arrived early, stayed late, and soaked up everything: AutoCAD, Revit, zoning laws, structural engineering. The other interns, mostly college kids, side-eyed her thrift store clothes, but Nia didn't care. She was there to learn, not compete. One night, she overheard two architects arguing over a community center design. It's too expensive, one snapped. Low-income clients don't need fancy. Nia spoke up, uninvited. They deserve better than bare minimum. What if we used modular units? Cheaper, but still beautiful. The room went quiet. The lead architect, Priya, raised an eyebrow. Explain. Nia sketched a quick layout on a whiteboard. Compact, solar-powered, with shared green spaces. It's affordable but feels like home, she said. Dignity matters. Priya nodded slowly. Not bad, kid. Keep talking. Kane took notice, pulling Nia into his office. You got a vision, he said, tossing her a book on sustainable design. Study this. You're pitching to the board next week. Me. Nia's eyes widened. I'm just... Not just anything, Kane cut in. You're a designer. Act like it. Nia barely slept, studying and refining her pitch. She wanted homes that lifted people up, not boxed them in. At the board meeting, she stood in her second-hand blazer, her voice steady. I grew up in places that felt like cages, she said. I want to build homes that feel like freedom, for everyone. The board leaned forward, captivated. One member, a woman with sharp eyes, asked, Why should we bet on you? Because I know what it's like to have nothing, Nia said. And I know how to build something from it. Back at Claudia's, Tammy lounged by the pool, filming a TikTok. Living my best life, she bragged, panning to the mansion. Some people could never. Claudia smirked. That girl's probably begging by now. But Nia was in a boardroom, earning nods from people who could change the world. Her spark was becoming a flame. Nia's pitch became Maverick's new flagship project, a $25,000 modular home, solar-powered, expandable, designed for low-income families. They posted a 3D rendering online, crediting Nia Morgan, rising designer. The internet erupted. YouTubers raved, "This teen's changing architecture." TikTokers stitched her story, from homeless to hero. Twitter called her, the girl designing homes for the forgotten. Nia, still in her tiny apartment, watched the views climb into the millions. She did interviews in borrowed blazers, her voice raw but fierce. A home isn't just walls, she told a podcast host. It's where you rebuild yourself. The host leaned in. You sound like you've lived it. What's your story? Nia paused, then said, I was thrown out with nothing but a sketchbook. That's why I build, for the ones who feel discarded. The clip went viral, shared by influencers and celebrities. Hashtag Nia Morgan trended worldwide. At a coffee shop, Nia overheard two teens talking. She's like our age, one said. How's she doing this? She's got heart, the other replied. That's how. Meanwhile, Claudia and Tammy sat in their living room, the TV blaring a news segment about Nia. Tammy's jaw dropped. That's her. Claudia scoffed, but her voice wavered. A fluke. She'll fade. She's trending everywhere, Tammy muttered, scrolling X. People love her. Nia's phone buzzed with an email, an invitation to pitch in Manhattan to billionaire Kenneth Sloan. She boarded her first-ever flight, her sketchbook tucked under her arm. In a sleek conference room, Sloan listened as she pitched her vision. Entire communities of affordable, dignified homes. You don't just draw buildings, Sloan said, his voice low. You draw futures. I'm in, $1.5 million to start your firm, Haven Edge Designs. You lead it. Nia's heart stopped. Me? I'm nobody. Sloan smiled. You're the future. Sign here. She did, hands trembling. Back in L.A., she rented a modest apartment 2 blocks from Claudia's mansion. From her window, she could see the house that rejected her. She didn't want revenge. She wanted to build something bigger, a legacy that would outshine their cruelty. Nia Morgan stepped off the plane into the chaos of JFK Airport, her heart pounding. It was her first flight, and the weight of the moment pressed against her chest. At 17, with only a thrift store blazer and her sketchbook, she was in New York to pitch to billionaire Kenneth Sloan. The invitation had come via a crisp email from his assistant, citing her viral housing model. Nia clutched her portfolio, her designs for affordable, solar-powered homes tucked inside like a lifeline. In a sleek Manhattan high-rise, Nia sat across from Sloan, a man with piercing blue eyes and a reputation for backing visionaries. The conference room's glass walls framed the city skyline, making her feel small yet determined. She spread out her sketches, her voice steady despite her nerves. "These homes aren't just structures," she said, pointing to a 3D model on her tablet. "They're hope, affordable, sustainable, built for people who've been forgotten." Sloan leaned forward. "Why you, Nia? You're a kid, no degree, no track record. What makes you think you can lead this?" Nia met his gaze. "Because I've lived it. I know what it's like to have no home, no family. I'm not guessing what people need, I've felt it." He tapped his pen, studying her. "Passion's good, but can you deliver?" "Give me the chance, and I'll show you," she said. "My designs cut costs without cutting dignity. I've got the math to prove it." Sloane's assistant, Ms. Carter, slid a folder across the table. "Projected ROI for her modular homes is 15% in 3 years, she said. "The market's hungry for this." Sloan nodded slowly. "All right, Nia. $1.5 million to launch Haven Edge Designs. You're the face, the brain, everything. Don't let me down." Nia's breath caught. "I won't, sir. Thank you." He smiled faintly. "You don't just draw buildings. You draw futures. That's why I'm betting on you." Back in Los Angeles, Nia signed a lease for a modest apartment 2 blocks from her Aunt Claudia's mansion. From her window, she could see the iron gate where she'd been cast out. She didn't gloat. She unpacked her sketchbook and started planning Haven Edge's first project, her mind buzzing with possibilities. Nobody in the neighborhood knew the new girl was the one they'd discarded, but they would soon. The morning sun glinted off a black Tesla pulling into the house across from Claudia's mansion. Nia stepped out, her hair in a neat bun, her sunglasses hiding the fire in her eyes. She carried a briefcase, not a duffel bag, but her heart raced with memories of that humiliating night. She'd bought the property through a shell corporation, keeping her name off the deed. The neighborhood buzzed with gossip about the mysterious millionaire, and Claudia was at the center of it. Inside her mansion, Claudia sipped coffee, peering through the curtains. "Who's that?" she muttered, her voice sharp with suspicion. Tammy, scrolling X on the couch, squinted out the window. "Looks familiar. Maybe a model? She's got money, that's for sure." "No way," Claudia snapped, adjusting her silk scarf. "That girl's long gone. Probably begging somewhere." Tammy smirked, posting a photo of the Tesla with the caption, "New rich neighbor alert." "Who's she?" Eyes #bougie, the post racked up likes, but no one guessed the truth. Across the street, Nia stood on her balcony, her phone buzzing with Haven Edge emails. She glanced at Claudia's mansion, remembering Tammy's cruel TikTok and Claudia's cold words. Revenge wasn't her goal. Growth was. She'd already purchased 2 vacant lots nearby, quietly planning a community housing project. Her assistant, Maya, called from the office. "Nia, the city's on board for the land behind Claudia's place. You sure you want to move this fast?" "Positive," Nia said, her voice calm but firm. "This isn't about them. It's about what's right." That evening, Claudia hosted a neighborhood brunch, her voice dripping with disdain. "Some tycoons moving in, ruining our aesthetic," she told Mrs. Larson, the HOA president. "We don't need flashy cars here." Mrs. Larson frowned. "I heard they're planning affordable housing nearby. Could be good for the city." Claudia scoffed. "Good? It's a blight. We'll fight it." Nia, walking past with a grocery bag, overheard but kept her head down. Her lips curved slightly. They had no idea who they were up against. Haven Edge Designs grew quietly but fiercely. Nia's team secured permits for a housing block behind Claudia's mansion, eco-friendly homes with a playground and community garden. She worked late, her office lit by a single lamp, blueprints spread across her desk. Her phone pinged with a local news alert, Mystery developer breaks ground on affordable housing. The footage showed Nia, her face partially obscured by a hard hat, shoveling dirt. Claudia, watching from her living room, ranted to Tammy. "This is outrageous," she fumed, pointing at the TV. "Low-income housing? Right behind my fence? It'll ruin our property value." Tammy, unemployed after her boutique tanked, scrolled X nervously. "Mom, chill. It's just a project. Just a project." Claudia snapped. "It's an eyesore. I'm calling the HOA tomorrow." Unbeknownst to them, Tammy had applied for a marketing job at Haven Edge, desperate for cash. She didn't know Nia ran the company. At a coffee shop, she vented to her friend Lila. "I need this job, but the interview's tomorrow, and I'm freaking out. What if they're snobs?" Lila sipped her latte. "You're Tammy Morgan. You've got 50K followers. Charm them." "Yeah, but my last post barely got 200 likes, Tammy admitted, her confidence cracking. "I'm not who I used to be." Meanwhile, Nia met with city planners, her voice steady as she outlined her vision. "These homes are for families who've been priced out," she said. "We're not just building houses, we're building futures." The planner, Mr. Ortiz, nodded. "You're young, but you've got conviction. The city's behind you, Ms. Morgan." That night, Claudia stood in her backyard, staring at the construction site's floodlights. "I'll stop this," she muttered. "This is my neighborhood." But Nia, in her office, smiled at a new email, another lot secured. Her empire was rising, one quiet move at a time. Tammy walked into Haven Edge's downtown office, her heels clicking on the polished floor. She wore a tight blazer and a forced smile, her stomach churning. The receptionist, a cheerful woman named Elena, glanced up. "Ms. Morgan? VP Nia Morgan will see you shortly." Tammy froze, her purse slipping slightly. "Morgan? Wait, no, there's a mistake." "No mistake," Elena said, smiling. "She's expecting you." Tammy's mind raced. It couldn't be her Nia. She considered bolting, but the rent was due, and her credit cards were maxed. She sat, fidgeting, until the office door opened. Nia stood there, poised in a navy suit, her eyes calm but unreadable. "Tammy. Long time." Tammy's laugh was nervous. "Nia? You work here." "I run here," Nia said, gesturing to a chair. "Let's make this quick. Why should we hire you?" Tammy stammered, her influencer bravado crumbling. I've got a big following. I know branding, social media. I'm in a rough phase, but I'm a hustler." Nia leaned back, her gaze steady. "A hustler? Like when you posted that TikTok of me getting kicked out. That kind of hustle." Tammy's face flushed. "That was a joke. I was young, stupid. I didn't mean." "You meant it," Nia cut in, her voice soft but firm. "You laughed while I walked into the dark with nothing. So, tell me, Tammy, what's changed?" Tammy's eyes welled up. "I'm broke. Mom's losing the house. I've got nothing left to flex. I just need a chance." Nia nodded, her expression unreadable. "We're looking for integrity, not followers. Best of luck." She stood, ending the meeting in 3 minutes. Tammy stumbled out, tears smudging her mascara. She called Claudia from the parking lot. "Mom, it was Nia. She's huge. And she owns the block." Claudia's voice cracked over the phone. "What? That's impossible. She's nobody." "She's everything," Tammy whispered, hanging up. The realization hit like a tidal wave. Nia wasn't just back, she was unstoppable. Claudia rallied neighbors at an HOA meeting, her voice shrill. "This low-income project is a disgrace," she declared, slamming a petition on the table. "It'll bring crime, noise, our property values will tank." Mrs. Larson, the HOA president, frowned. "Claudia, the developer's permits are airtight. And the community loves the project, affordable homes, a playground. What's your real issue? It's my view. Claudia snapped. I didn't sign up for this. A neighbor, Mr. Chen, spoke up. My kids need that playground. And those homes. They're for families, not criminals. Maybe you're just mad someone's doing good. The room murmured agreement. Claudia stormed out, humiliated. Meanwhile, Nia's team hosted a workshop at the construction site, teaching teens to design eco-homes. Local news covered it, showing Nia handing out sketch pads. A teen painted a mural on Claudia's fence. Everyone deserves a home. Claudia called her lawyer, fuming. Sue them. That mural's vandalism. The lawyer sighed. It's public property, Claudia. And the developers got city backing. You're fighting a losing battle. That night, at a town hall, Nia faced Claudia's glare from the front row. This project is legal, Nia said, holding up permits. And long overdue. We're building homes for people who've been pushed out, like I was. The crowd cheered, but Claudia stood. You're ruining our neighborhood, she shouted. Nia's voice stayed calm. I'm building a community. You're welcome to join us. The applause drowned Claudia out. Teens from the workshop mobbed Nia, holding up their sketches. One girl, Mia, hugged her. You're like us, she whispered. You made it. Nia smiled, her heart full. You will too, Mia. Keep drawing. As Claudia drove home, she saw the mural glowing under streetlights. Nia's name was everywhere, on newsstands, ex-posts, people's lips. The girl she'd discarded was rewriting the neighborhood's future. Claudia Morgan's manicured nails tapped furiously on her mahogany dining table, her face flushed with indignation. The construction site behind her mansion hummed with activity. Cranes lifting beams, workers hammering, Nia Morgan's affordable housing project taking shape. Claudia had called an emergency meeting with a lawyer, Mr. Hensley, known for bending rules. She leaned forward, her voice low and venomous. This project is a blight on my neighborhood. Find a way to stop it. Hensley, a wiry man with slicked back hair, flipped through a folder. The permits are ironclad, Claudia. The developer, Haven Edge, has city approval. But, he smirked, there's an old HOA clause about aesthetic disruption. We could argue it violates the neighborhood's character. Claudia's eyes gleamed. Do it. File an injunction. I want that eyesore gone. Tammy, slouched in a chair, scrolling X, muttered, Mom, you're obsessed. It's just houses. Just houses. Claudia snapped, her silk blouse rustling. It's our legacy. That girl, Nia, she's behind this, I know it. She's taunting me. Tammy rolled her eyes. You kicked her out. Maybe she's just doing her thing. Claudia ignored her, turning to Hensley. How fast can you move? 2 weeks, he said. But it'll cost you. And if the developer fights back, it could get ugly. I don't care, Claudia hissed. I want her stopped. Across town, Nia stood at the construction site, her hard hat tilted back as she reviewed blueprints with her project manager, Javier. We're ahead of schedule, he said, grinning. The first families move in next month. Nia nodded, her eyes on the rising frames. Good. Let's make sure the playground's ready too. Kids need a place to feel free. Javier glanced at her. You're not just building homes, are you? This feels personal. Nia's smile was tight. It's for everyone who's ever been told they don't belong. That evening, news broke. Haven Edge honored with city commendation for community impact. The broadcast showed Nia shaking hands with the mayor, her face radiant but composed. Claudia, watching from her living room, threw her remote at the wall. She's mocking me, she screamed. Tammy, curled up on the couch, whispered, She's winning, Mom. And we're not. Claudia's lawyer called the next day. Bad news, Hensley said. The HOA clause? Outdated. Nia's team filed new bylaws 3 years ago. You signed them, Claudia. The project's untouchable. Claudia's face paled. She remembered the petition, dismissed as routine. Nia had outplayed her, and the neighborhood was slipping from her grasp. Nia sat in her Haven Edge office, sunlight streaming through the window, her desk covered with architectural models. Her assistant, Maya, handed her a stack of documents. "You sure about this, Nia? Buying Claudia's mansion is bold." "It's not about revenge," Nia said, signing the offer letter. "It's about closing a chapter." The letter, from Morgan Ventures, offered to buy Claudia's home for $2.5 million, well above market value, in cash. Nia knew Claudia was drowning in debt. Foreclosure loomed like a shadow. At Claudia's mansion, the mailbox held the letter. Claudia tore it open, her hands trembling. "Morgan Ventures," she scoffed, tossing it on the kitchen counter. "Some faceless corporation thinks I'm desperate?" Tammy, picking at a bowl of cereal, frowned. "Mom, we are desperate. The bank called again. We can't pay the property taxes." Claudia glared. "I'm not selling my home to some stranger. This is our legacy." Tammy sighed, reading the letter. "It's a lot of money. We could start over, maybe." "Start over?" Claudia laughed bitterly. "You sound like her. That ungrateful girl." Tammy's voice dropped. "Nia's not the problem, Mom. We are." That night, Claudia found a foreclosure notice taped to her gate, the red ink glaring under the streetlight. She sank onto the porch, her pride crumbling. At a neighborhood cafe the next day, she vented to Mrs. Larson. "They're circling like vultures," she said, her voice shaking. "This offer, it's an insult." Mrs. Larson sipped her tea. "Or it's a lifeline. You've been struggling since Richard's bad investments. Take the money, Claudia." Claudia's eyes narrowed. "Never. I'd rather lose it all." But alone in her bedroom, staring at unpaid bills, Claudia wavered. The offer was her only way out. She didn't know Nia was behind it, but the irony was already tightening its grip. The notary office smelled of stale coffee and ink. Claudia sat across from Nia, her face a mask of defiance, though her hands shook as she gripped the pen. The deed to her mansion lay between them, its weight heavier than the paper. Nia, in a tailored blazer, sat calmly, her eyes steady but not cruel. The lawyer, Mr. Patel, shuffled documents, oblivious to the history in the room. Claudia signed, her signature jagged. "I suppose you're proud," she said, her voice icy. "Buying my home like some trophy." Nia met her gaze. "Not proud. At peace." Claudia's lips quivered. "You think you've won? Parading your little projects, shaming us." "I'm not here to shame you," Nia said softly. "I'm here to build something better." Claudia's eyes welled up, but she blinked hard. "You were nothing. A burden. And now, this." Nia leaned forward. "I was a kid who needed a family. You gave me a lesson instead. I'm grateful for it." The lawyer handed Nia the keys. Claudia stood, her purse clutched tightly, and walked out without another word. Nia stayed, running her thumb over the keyring. She remembered standing outside that same gate, her duffel bag at her feet, Tammy's tick-tock laughter echoing in her mind. The victory wasn't loud, it was a quiet exhale, a wound finally closing. Later, Nia walked through the mansion's empty halls. The staircase where she'd once cried felt smaller now. She paused at her old room, bare except for a faded pencil mark where she'd sketched a window. "You made it," she whispered to herself, her voice steady. Outside, Tammy lingered by the gate, watching movers load Claudia's belongings. "She did it," Tammy muttered to herself. "She really took it all." Nia didn't move into the mansion. Instead, she transformed it into the Lighthouse, a mentorship center for girls in foster care. The grand opening was a spectacle: balloons, local news crews, and dozens of teens touring the renovated space. Classrooms buzzed with art supplies, coding laptops, and architectural models. Nia stood in the foyer, welcoming families, her smile warm but grounded. A reporter, Lisa Chen, thrust a microphone forward. Nia, why turn this mansion into a center instead of living here? Nia glanced at the mural-covered walls, painted by foster teens. This house held pain for me, she said. Now it holds purpose. These girls deserve a place to dream. A girl, 15-year-old Aisha, tugged Nia's sleeve. Miss Nia, can I really learn to design houses here? Nia knelt, meeting her eyes. You can learn anything, Aisha. Start with one sketch. That's how I did it. Across the street, Tammy watched from a park bench, her sunglasses hiding red-rimmed eyes. Her mother's mansion was gone, replaced by laughter and hope. She scrolled X, where the opening trended, Nia Morgan's Lighthouse, a home for dreamers. Comments poured in, she's a legend. From homeless to hero. Tammy's friend Lila texted, you seeing this? Your cousin's killing it. Tammy typed back, yeah. And I'm nobody now. At the event, a foster mom hugged Nia. My daughter's been sketching since she saw your story, she said, tears in her eyes. You're showing her she's enough. Nia's throat tightened. That's why I built this. So no one feels discarded. The mayor cut the ribbon, and cheers erupted. Claudia's former neighbors clapped, some whispering about the new Nia. The house that once rejected her was now a beacon, and Nia stood at its heart, unshaken. Tammy Morgan sat on a sagging couch in a friend's apartment, her suitcase at her feet. Her influencer life had crumbled, no brand deals, no boutique, just a string of ignored DMs. She recorded a tearful video, her voice breaking. I was awful to my cousin Nia, she said, staring into her phone. I laughed when she got kicked out. I was wrong. She posted it, hoping for redemption, but the internet wasn't kind. Comments flooded in, too late, Tammy. You don't get to cry now. Across town, Nia accepted the National Rising Leader Award at a gala. The ballroom glittered, her navy gown a far cry from her thrift store days. The MC introduced her, Nia Morgan, who turned pain into purpose. Clips of her journey played, her viral designs, the lighthouse, the housing project. A news anchor, interviewing her live, asked, what do you say to those who doubted you? Nia paused, her eyes steady. They taught me the difference between a house and a home. I'm grateful for the lesson. The crowd roared. Tammy, watching on her cracked phone screen, felt her stomach twist. She'd mocked Nia's pain, and now Nia was a national name. Tammy's follower count dwindled to 5,000, her boss babe persona a ghost. At a diner, Tammy met Lila, her last friend. I messed up, Tammy admitted, stirring her coffee. I thought I was better than her. Now she's everything. Lila shrugged. You could apologize. For real, not for clout. I don't deserve her forgiveness, Tammy said, her voice small. I made her life hell. Then do better, Lila said. Stop chasing likes. Start chasing. I dunno, something real. Tammy nodded, but her heart sank. Meanwhile, Nia's speech trended on X. No child should feel discarded. I build so no one gets left behind. The words echoed in Tammy's mind, a mirror to her own emptiness. Tammy Morgan stood outside Haven Edge Design's sleek downtown office, her hands trembling as she clutched her phone. The viral video she'd posted, a tearful confession of bullying Nia, had backfired, earning her scorn instead of sympathy. Comments on X called her fake and desperate. Now, broke and couch surfing, she'd come to face the cousin she'd once mocked. The glass doors loomed like a judgment, but Tammy pushed through, her sneakers squeaking on the polished floor. The receptionist, Elena, raised an eyebrow. Can I help you? Tammy Morgan, she mumbled. I need to see Nia. Please. Elena's gaze softened. She's in a meeting, but I'll let her know. Tammy sat in the lobby, her once glossy influencer persona reduced to a faded hoodie and smudged mascara. She scrolled through X, where Nia's latest award trended, Nia Morgan, from homeless to hero. Tammy's heart sank. She'd laughed when Nia was thrown out, posted that cruel TikTok. Now, Nia was a beacon, and Tammy was nothing. Nia appeared, her navy blazer crisp, her expression unreadable. "Tammy," she said, her voice calm but firm. "Why are you here?" Tammy stood, her voice cracking. "I was awful to you. That video, the TikTok, all of it, I was cruel. I don't deserve your time, but I'm sorry. Really." Nia studied her, silent for a moment. "You posted that apology for likes, didn't you?" Tammy's face flushed. "At first, yeah. But I mean it now. I'm broke, Nia. Mom's broke. I've got nothing, and I know I earned it." Nia's eyes softened, but her tone stayed steady. "An apology doesn't erase what you did. You laughed when I was homeless. You made my pain a show." Tammy's tears spilled over. "I know. I was jealous. You were always stronger, even when we treated you like dirt." Nia sighed, glancing at a photo on the wall, a sketch of Freedom House. "I don't hate you, Tammy. But trust is earned, not given." Tammy nodded, wiping her face. "I just want to make it right." Nia paused, then handed her a card. "The Lighthouse has internship slots for mentors. Apply there. Start where you can. What you do next is up to you." Tammy clutched the card, her voice a whisper. "You're giving me a chance? After everything?" "I'm giving you a start," Nia corrected. "Don't waste it." The story hit national news. Millionaire forgives bully cousin, offers lifeline. X exploded with praise for Nia's grace. Tammy, back at her friend's apartment, watched the coverage, her heart heavy but hopeful. "She didn't have to do that," she told Lila over coffee. Lila shrugged. "She's bigger than you ever were. Maybe learn from it." Tammy nodded, staring at the card. For the first time, she saw a path, not to fame, but to redemption. Claudia's mansion, now Nia's, was stripped bare. Her antique furniture, crystal chandeliers, and family heirlooms were auctioned off to pay crushing debts. The event drew a crowd. Collectors, neighbors, and curious onlookers packed the community center. Nia attended anonymously, her hoodie and sunglasses blending her into the crowd. She wasn't there to gloat. She was there for one thing: her mother's photo album, tossed out by Claudia years ago. The auctioneer, a stout man with a booming voice, held up the album. Lot 47, a vintage photo collection, starting at $50. Nia's heart clenched. She remembered her mom's smile in those faded pictures, her dad's arm around her. Claudia had called them junk. Now, they were all Nia had left of her parents. A bidder raised a paddle. $75. Nia's hand shot up. $200. Heads turned, but no one recognized her. Another bidder, a collector, countered. $250. Nia's voice was steady. $500. The room buzzed. The auctioneer grinned. "Sold to the lady in the back." Nia collected the album, her fingers tracing the worn leather. Inside were photos of her childhood, birthdays, picnics, her parents' laughter. She slipped out before anyone could ask her name. At the lighthouse, Nia placed the album in the reading room under a sign. "This is where I come from. This is why I rise." A foster teen, Sophia, found her there. "Miss Nia, whose pictures are these?" she asked, flipping through the album. "My parents," Nia said softly. "They believed in me when no one else did." Sophia's eyes widened. "You made all this," she gestured to the center. "Because of them?" "And because of me," Nia said. "I had to believe in myself too." Sophia hugged the album. "I want to be like you someday." Nia smiled. "You already are. Keep going." The story spread on X. Nia Morgan buys back her past at auction. Foster youth shared photos of the album, calling it a symbol of resilience. Claudia, in her new rented flat, saw the post on her phone. "She even took that," she muttered, but her voice lacked venom. The fight was gone. Nia stood on a vacant lot 2 blocks from Claudia's former mansion, her boots sinking into the dirt. Today was the groundbreaking for Morgan Rise, a 60-unit affordable housing village with green energy and community spaces. News helicopters buzzed overhead, capturing the crowd, families, city officials, and girls from the lighthouse. Nia handed a shovel to Aisha, the teen from the open house. "You're up," she said, smiling. Aisha grinned, digging the ceremonial first soil. "This is for us, right?" she asked. "For all of us," Nia said. "This is home." The crowd cheered as local business leaders pledged support. A reporter, Lisa Chen, caught Nia afterward. "This project's massive," Lisa said. "What's driving you?" Nia looked at the rising frames. "This neighborhood saw me at my lowest, kicked out, alone. Now, we're building hope right where they said I didn't belong." Lisa nodded, scribbling. "And the rumors? People say you own half this block." Nia's smile was cryptic. "I own what matters." At the lighthouse, Nia met with her team. Javier, her project manager, clapped her shoulder. "You're changing the game, Nia. But Claudia's still whining on X about her view." "Let her," Nia said. "She's fighting a ghost." That evening, Tammy started her internship at the lighthouse, teaching coding to foster girls. She overheard 2 teens talking. "Miss Nia's a legend," one said. "She built all this from nothing." Tammy paused, her voice soft. "She really did." A girl, Mia, looked up. "You know her." Tammy hesitated. "She's family. And I wasn't kind to her. But she gave me this chance." Mia shrugged. "Then don't mess it up." The groundbreaking trended, Morgan Rise, Nia's vision for a new neighborhood. Ex-users posted drone shots of the site, calling it Hope in Concrete. Nia watched from her apartment, her sketchbook open to Freedom House. The dream was real now, and it was growing. Claudia Morgan sat alone in her cramped rented flat, the walls bare except for a flickering TV. The once proud matriarch was a shadow of herself. No mansion, no status, just silence. She clicked on a TED Talk link trending on X. Nia Morgan. Building homes, building futures. Nia's voice filled the room, steady and powerful. "No one should feel discarded," she said. "Every home I build is a promise. No one gets left behind." Claudia's hands shook. She remembered Nia at 14, sketching in her room, her eyes bright despite Claudia's coldness. "That girl, she just wanted a family," Claudia whispered to the empty room. Shame, not bitterness, crushed her. She'd thrown Nia out, mocked her dreams, and now Nia was rewriting the world. At a nearby diner, Claudia overheard 2 women talking. "Nia Morgan's housing project is amazing," one said. "She's only 18, and she's changing lives." Claudia's coffee cup trembled. "She was my niece," she said, her voice barely audible. The women turned, surprised. "Wait, the Nia Morgan? You're related." "Was," Claudia said, staring at her cup. "I wasn't kind." The women exchanged glances. "Sounds like you missed out," one said, not unkindly. Claudia left without responding, her heart heavy. Meanwhile, Tammy thrived at the lighthouse, teaching coding with a passion she'd never known. She sat with Mia during a break. "I used to think I was better than Nia," Tammy admitted. "I was wrong." Mia shrugged. "You're here now. That's what counts." Tammy smiled faintly. "Yeah, I'm trying." Nia, unaware of Claudia's quiet unraveling, worked late at Haven Edge, sketching new designs. Her assistant, Maya, poked her head in. "You see X? They're calling you a visionary." Nia laughed softly. "I'm just a girl with a sketchbook." "A girl who's changing the world," Maya said. "Don't stop." Claudia, alone in her flat, clicked off the TV. Nia's face lingered in her mind, not triumphant, but steady, unbreakable. For the first time, Claudia saw her clearly, not a burden, but a light she'd failed to dim. Nia Morgan stood in the lobby of the lighthouse, her mentorship center, as sunlight streamed through the mural-covered windows. A letter from her former teacher, Miss Harper, lay open on her desk. "You were born for more than walls could hold." The words hit deep, stirring memories of high school, when Miss Harper had dismissed Nia's sketches as childish dreams. Now, she'd invited Miss Harper to tour Morgan Rise, the 60-unit affordable housing village Nia had built 2 blocks from her childhood pain. Ms. Harper arrived, her gray hair pulled back, her eyes wide as she took in the vibrant community. "Nia," she said, her voice soft, "I underestimated you." "I'm sorry." Nia smiled, leading her through the village. "It's okay, Ms. Harper. You taught me to prove people wrong." They walked past families moving into solar-powered homes, children playing in the community garden. At the village's community center, a group of lighthouse teens presented their own architectural designs. Aisha, now 16, held up a sketch of a mansion titled Peace. "It's got big windows," she said, grinning at Nia. "Like yours." Ms. Harper's eyes glistened. "You're inspiring them, Nia. I never saw this in you." "You didn't have to," Nia said gently. "I did." Another teen, Sophia, showed a design called Second Chance, a cozy home with a rooftop garden. "This is for people like me," Sophia said, her voice shy. "Foster kids who need a fresh start." Nia knelt beside her. "It's perfect, Sophia. Keep building." Ms. Harper watched, her voice thick. "You've changed the cycle, Nia. These kids, they're not just surviving. They're dreaming." "That's the point," Nia said. "No one should feel stuck." The tour ended with a community dinner, where families shared stories. A father, Mr. Torres, clasped Nia's hand. "My kids have a home because of you," he said. "You don't know what that means." "I do," Nia replied, her voice steady. "I really do." That night, X trended with posts about Morgan Rise. "Nia Morgan's village is a game-changer." Aisha's sketch of Peace went viral, captioned, "This is what hope looks like." Nia sat in her apartment, her sketchbook open to Freedom House, the design that started it all. The circle wasn't just complete, it was growing. The Grand Ballroom in Washington, D.C., glittered under chandeliers as Nia Morgan stepped onto the stage, her navy gown catching the light. She was there to receive the Presidential Medal for Social Impact, a moment televised to millions. The MC's voice boomed, "Nia Morgan, who turned her pain into a legacy of hope." A montage played, Nia's homeless nights, her viral blueprints, the lighthouse, Morgan Rise. The crowd rose, applauding, as she accepted the medal, its weight grounding her. Backstage, a reporter, Marcus Lee, caught her. "Nia, you're 18, and you're changing lives. How do you process this?" Nia smiled, her voice steady. "I don't think about the spotlight. I think about the kids who need a home, a chance. That's what keeps me going." Marcus leaned in. "Your story's inspiring, but it's raw. What do you say to those who hurt you?" Nia paused, her eyes distant. "They taught me resilience. I'm grateful, in a way. No child should feel discarded, so I build to make sure they don't." The crowd's applause thundered again. In her rented flat, Claudia watched on her old iPad, her face pale. Nia's words echoed, "No child should feel discarded." A single tear fell, not from anger, but from the weight of her own choices. She remembered Nia's tearful eyes at 17, standing outside her gate. Claudia turned off the screen, the silence deafening. At the gala, a foster teen, Mia, approached Nia, clutching a sketch. "Miss Nia, I saw you on TV," she said, beaming. "You said my design could be real someday." "It will be," Nia said, studying the sketch, "a tiny home with a porch." "What's it called?" "Hope," Mia whispered. Nia hugged her. "Perfect name." X exploded. "Nia Morgan's speech is everything." Posts showed her medal, her gown, her words trending globally. Nia, back in her hotel room, called Maya. "It's surreal," she admitted. "But it's not about me. It's about what you're building," Maya said. "You're a movement, Nia." Nia sat at her desk in the lighthouse, sorting through mail. Amid the fan letters and donation pledges was a plain envelope, no return address. She opened it, her breath catching at the 6 words in Claudia's shaky handwriting. "You deserved better. I'm sorry." Nia stared, her heart racing. She hadn't seen Claudia since the mansion sale, hadn't expected this. The note wasn't long, but it carried years of unspoken weight. She called Tammy, now a mentor at the lighthouse. "Tammy, did you know about this?" Nia asked, holding the letter. Tammy's voice was soft over the phone. "No, but Mom's been quiet lately. She watches your speeches, Nia. I think she's starting to see." "See what?" Nia asked, her tone guarded. "You," Tammy said. "What you've become." She's not proud, she's ashamed. Nia folded the letter, slipping it into her sketchbook behind the first drawing of Freedom House. She didn't need to respond. The note was closure, not a conversation. She walked to the reading room, where Sophia was sketching with other teens. "Miss Nia, you okay?" Sophia asked, noticing her quietness. "Yeah," Nia said, smiling faintly. "Just remembering where I started." Sophia tilted her head. "You're sad." "Not sad," Nia said. "Ready. Some things heal on their own." That evening, Nia met Javier at Morgan Rise. "You're quiet tonight," he said, tossing her a hard hat. "Everything good?" She nodded. "Got a letter from my aunt. An apology." Javier whistled. "That's big. You gonna write back?" "No," Nia said. "I've already answered, with this." She gestured to the village, its lights glowing against the dusk. X buzzed with speculation. Did Nia's aunt apologize? Sources say yes. But Nia stayed silent, letting her work speak. The letter wasn't a victory, it was a release, freeing her to focus on what mattered. Nia stood on a stage at the lighthouse, launching the Young Nia Grant, a scholarship for girls in unstable homes excelling in art, tech, or design. The room was packed, foster teens, community leaders, and media. Nia held up a sketch by Aisha. "This is why we're here," she said. "The question for applicants is simple. What will you build when the world tells you you can't?" The campaign went viral, with entries flooding in from across the globe. Aisha, now a scholarship finalist, approached Nia after the event. "Miss Nia, my design. Peace. Is it good enough?" Nia studied the sketch, its clean lines and warm details. "It's more than good enough. It's you." Aisha beamed. "I want to build it for real someday." "You will," Nia said. "This grant is your start." A reporter, Lisa Chen, cornered Nia. "The Young Nia Grant is trending worldwide. How does it feel to be a symbol?" Nia laughed softly. "I'm not a symbol. I'm just giving girls what I needed, a chance." At a diner, Tammy overheard 2 teens discussing the grant. "I'm applying," one said, sketching on a napkin. "Nia Morgan's like, proof we can make it." Tammy smiled, joining them. "She's my cousin," she said, surprising herself. "She's the real deal." The teen grinned. "You're lucky to know her." Tammy's eyes softened. "Yeah. I'm learning that." X posts flooded with sketches tagged #YoungNiaGrant, each one a testament to Nia's impact. Claudia, in her flat, saw an entry from a girl in foster care. "Nia showed me I'm enough." Claudia's hands shook. She hadn't just lost her home, she'd lost her chance to know Nia. Nia, unaware, reviewed applications late into the night, her heart full. The grant wasn't just money, it was a promise that no girl would feel discarded. Nia walked through the lighthouse, her footsteps echoing in the halls of Claudia's former mansion. The walls, once cold, now burst with color. Murals by foster teens, quotes about resilience. She paused at the staircase where she'd cried at 17, kicked out with nothing but her sketchbook. Now, 2 girls, Mia and Sophia, sat there, sketching blueprints together. Nia joined them, sitting on the steps. "What's this one?" she asked, pointing to Mia's drawing. It's hope, Mia said. A house where kids like me feel safe. Nia's eyes warmed. It's beautiful, Mia. You're an architect already. Mia blushed. Will I really be one someday, Miss Nia? You already are, Nia said. You just need to keep building. Sophia looked up. You built all this after... What happened here? How? Nia touched the staircase, memories flickering. This house hurt me, but it also taught me. Every time I fell, I drew something new. That's how you rebuild, line by line. The girls nodded, their pencils moving faster. Nia stood, her heart lighter. The house no longer held pain, it held purpose. Outside, Morgan Rise glowed, families settling into homes she'd designed. A mother, Mrs. Torres, waved from her porch. Nia, you gave us a future, she called. Nia waved back. You're the future. I just built the walls. X trended with photos of the lighthouse, Nia Morgan's house of dreams. Teens posted their sketches, inspired by Nia's story. Tammy, teaching a coding class nearby, watched the girls, her own redemption taking root. She turned pain into this, she told Javier. He nodded. That's Nia. She doesn't break, she builds. The final scene unfolded with drone footage soaring over Morgan Rise, its eco-homes glowing under solar lights. Children laughed in the playground, families chatted on porches, and the lighthouse stood as a beacon, its murals vibrant against the dusk. The camera panned to a street sign, Morgan Avenue, named by the city in Nia's honor. Nia stood at the village's edge, her sketchbook tucked under her arm. Aisha ran up, holding a new sketch. Miss Nia, look. It's Freedom House, like yours. Nia grinned, studying the drawing. You nailed it, Aisha. Build it big. Aisha hugged her. You're why I'm not scared anymore. Nia's throat tightened. You were never meant to be. The voiceover began, deep and resonant. They discarded her with nothing but dreams, and she came back owning the entire street they once called home. The camera zoomed out, showing the lighthouse and Morgan Rise, a testament to Nia's vision. The screen faded to text, true strength isn't in revenge. It's in rewriting the address they told you you'd never belong to. At a community event, Nia spoke to families. This is ours, she said, gesturing to the village. We built this together. Mr. Torres approached. You gave my kids a home, Nia. How do we thank you? Live in it, Nia said. That's enough. Claudia, in her flat, watched the broadcast, her eyes fixed on Nia's face. Tammy, now a full-time lighthouse mentor, called her. Mom, you see this? She named the street after herself. Claudia's voice was soft. No. She named it after hope. Tammy smiled. I'm proud of her. Are you? Claudia didn't answer, but her silence said enough. X erupted, Morgan Avenue is Nia's legacy. Posts showed families thriving, teens sketching, Nia's name synonymous with grace. She stood alone on Morgan Avenue, the streetlights casting a warm glow. Her sketchbook held one final drawing, a new Freedom House, bigger, bolder, for the world. I'm glad you made it to the end. I hope you enjoyed the story.